Silencio. ¿Qué es este vocabulario? ¿Es sobre qué? Restaurante. Bien. Okay, ¿cómo se dice restaurant? Restaurante. You try to find a good marker. Red one's the good one, but
Are any of these over here good?
no, not really. I mean, when they rest, they get better. All right, so we got restaurante. Is this spelled the same as English?
No. Yeah, so without the E.
Almost. The only difference is there's an E on the end. Did you spell restaurant correctly in English?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Spell in English.
No.
Just like this, except no E.
I didn't put restaurant.
It's restaurant. Okay, in Spanish, it should be a little easier because you pronounce all the letters. Restaurante. Restaurante. Okay? Bueno, so we go into a restaurant. First thing we're going to do is get our mesa. Okay, our table. Okay, we learned that last year. What are mesas when you go out west?
Plateaus.
Plateaus, because they look like a table, so there's mountains with the top cut off. Alright, so we go to the table, and then the first person you're going to see is mesero. Okay, so we've got mesero. Okay, and obviously mesero has to do with mesa, they come to your table. Alright, another word for mesero is camarero. We learned these words before. Do you guys remember what cama means?
To walk. Bed.
Bed. Okay, so where did that word come from?
Bed service. Hotel.
Right, hotels, because of room service. Okay, these waiters brought food to your bed. Okay, so therefore they came up with this word, and now they're interchangeable. Alright, bien. What's the other person at the restaurant? Our cocinero.
Cook.
Okay, that's our cook. Repitan, cocinero.
Cocinero.
Right, what word do you already know that's related to this? Cocina, which is kitchen.
So does mean cook?
This is the person, yeah.
Yeah.
Cocinero is the cook. Okay, so cocina is the kitchen, so you should know that word. And then what other verb should you know then?
Cocinar.
Cocinar, which means
To cook.
to cook. So you might want to write that down. Cocinar is a regular verb, so we don't have to worry about any irregular stuff with
Do you want to write that down in our other workout?
it. Yeah, we don't. Or no, I don't know that we have it.
No, we didn't.
Okay, so we got cocinar. Alright, so we've got the cook, and what does the waiter bring you first off? Menu. How do you say menu?
Menu.
Alright, repitan. Menu.
Menu.
Otra vez. Say it right, guys. Make sure you're pronouncing things correctly. Menu.
Menu.
Yeah. Okay, so you got that accent at the end of it. So menu. Alright, so now apparently we've already eaten our food and everything, and so the next thing that the waiter gives you is
Cuenta.
a cuenta. What is a cuenta?
Bill.
The bill or the check. Okay, the bill or the check.
the next thing they give you.
Said after you eat and everything, then the next thing they give you would be the bill.
You said menu.
I said after you eat and everything.
Oh.
Yeah. Alright, so we got menu, we got cuenta, your bill. Okay, so you get your bill, and now you need to pay. So what's one form of payment?
Credit card.
Good. Tarjeta de crédito
That's a credit
is a
card.
credit card. Tarjeta de débito.
Really?
What is the difference between debit and credit? Debit comes right.
It comes directly out of your checking account. This one you have to like
Then can you
pay.
explain the whole like debit and credit thing to me?
That's what we just did.
No, like not credit card, but like how when you have a debit card, you can choose
I
debit
can do
or
it.
credit.
I knew it.
It has to do with charges.
You what? Oh, never mind. Then I can explain it to you.
Yeah, it just has to do with charges. You get charged for using a debit card. That's basically. And a lot of stores you do. Don't choose debit if you can choose credit.
My mom always chooses credit because every time she chooses credit, she gets points.
Alright, so we got tarjeta. Guys, we really don't have time for discussion between
Oh,
everything.
lo
We don't.
siento.
Alright, so we got tarjeta de crédito. So we got our credit card. I'm gonna skip over the next one. What's the other form of payment then? Dinero, okay.
Wow, that was awesome.
Specifically, dinero en efectivo is the word for like cash. Okay, but we're just gonna use dinero as in money. Okay, so you pay with card or you pay with money. Do not get this confused with dinner. What is dinner?
Cena.
Cena.
Well,
Okay.
I wrote down dinner because I didn't look it up.
Shame. Diner.
Diner.
Okay, so dinero is money and cena is dinner. And a diner would just be a restaurant thing. All right, bien. And then what's the word I skipped over that goes along with your payment?
Propina.
Propina. What's propina?
Propina. Tip.
Okay. And we talked about tips last year. Okay. What is the minimum percentage you should tip?
8.
10%. Okay. What is the normal percentage rate? 15 to 20. Okay, so easy way to do it, if they were bad service, move the decimal point one place. So if you had a $35 bill, how much do you tip? $3.50. Okay, if they were a good service, what should you tip? $7. Double it, okay? Remember, 20% would be double of 10%. Okay, so you double it when it's good service. Okay, and everyone knows why you have to tip. Right. Right. If you're a server, you do not get paid minimum wage. You get paid like $3 and something. So if you don't tip, it's like you're not paying them for working, like at all.
Staying.
Okay, so you need to make sure you tip. That's important. Does everyone remember what gratuity is?
Gratitude.
Oh, isn't it like like you get that, but then like you split?
It's a part of your bill.
Like they take it like, don't they do it with groups?
Yes.
Yeah, like
Take out like the total and just take it out.
Right. It's like an automatic tip. Okay, so if you go in a big group, usually 6 or more, check your bill. If it says gratuity, that means you've already tipped. You can tip more, but you don't have to.
Oh.
Okay, so check that. You don't have to tip if there's gratuity on your bill. Okay, so keep that in mind, especially when you go out like for prom and stuff. If you guys go to big groups, look for that. All right, bien. So we finished the getting along in a restaurant. Did you guys notice that odd name for that section? Getting along in a restaurant.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got along in a restaurant now. Let's move on to our place setting. Now, I'm going to draw this place setting, and you guys know that I'm such a fabulous illustrator.
That's a
So,
horrible table.
That's a place, clearly.
Moi mao.
No,
Moi
it's
moi
oh.
moi
It
mao.
was in your room, no.
okay, anyway, there's our table.
It's a jellyfish.
Guys, we're not commenting on my drawing. We know it's terrible. All right, so this is our table. So we're doing our place setting. Why do you think I'm having you look at it as a whole place setting?
It's better to visualize it than to hear it in pieces.
That's one thing. And on your assessment,
You're gonna
You're
have
gonna label it.
it's going to be labeling, and it's not my drawing, I promise. It's an actual, like, printed drawing. If it was my drawing, you would be able to tell it. All right, so we've got our table. How do you say table again? Mesa. So here's our table. Mesa. All right, what's our first thing on our table setting? Vaso. Vaso is
A drinking glass.
a drinking glass. So there's our glass with ice in it. Okay, so there's our vaso. And guys, you might want to write this down yourself as a picture so you can picture it all together as a whole thing. Okay, so we got vaso. So vaso's a glass, and then we've got taza is a cup. So that's more like a,
Plastic.
no, like a teacup or coffee mug. Okay, so that would be a taza, would be a cup. So if we're doing matching, would these still be synonyms? Yeah, they're both drinking vessels.
Drinking vessels. Oh my
Okay,
god.
so vaso and taza. But if you were looking at a picture, would they be the same thing?
No.
No. Okay, so you got vaso's glass, taza's cup. And this could also be a plastic cup, but usually you still use vaso for anything shaped like that. Alright, so we got vaso and taza. What's after taza? Platillo. What's platillo?
Saucer.
A saucer, okay, a small plate. So that would be our platillo. Alright, what's after platillo?
Plato. Plato.
Plato. So plato is
Plate.
our whole plate. And there's our plato. Alright, what's after plato?
Tenedor.
Tenedor. And what's a tenedor? A fork. And I don't remember which side is which, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so there's our tenedor. Right.
I was like a pitchfork.
Oh, my fork.
Alright, so there's our tenedor. Alright, what's after tenedor?
Cuchillo.
Cuchillo. What's a cuchillo?
A knife.
A knife. So here's our knife. Cuchillo. Okay. And what's after cuchillo?
Cucharita.
Cucharita, and that's a
Teaspoon.
teaspoon.
Aww. It's
Saying aw, I spoon. Alright, so cucharita. And guys, with teaspoons and tablespoons, the tablespoon is your normal spoon you eat with. Or you can think of it more as, and like teaspoon would be like what you like stir a drink or something with. Or you think of it as measurements, okay, as in a teaspoon and a tablespoon, okay, so it could go either way. But in general, which one are you gonna use the most?
Kuchara.
Kuchara, because that's a regular spoon. Okay, so there's our kuchara, the really big one. I don't know. It just is.
It's fancy that way.
Okay, so there's our table set. Now, what words do you think are gonna get mixed up the most?
Kuchara, kucharita, cuchillo.
Right, these three, okay? Obviously, ita means it's small, so that's pretty easy to think of those two. What would be a good way to remember cuchara and cuchillo?
Knives
Like
and
the
all,
L's
they have
with
L's
the
in
knife.
it.
Right, the L's have knives in it. Okay, the cuchillo has knives in it. Think of it that way. That's the best way to remember which one's which. Okay? Alright, so we got that cuchara, we got cucharita, cuchara, tenedor, cuchillo. Alright, what's after cuchara?
Mantel.
Montel, what's montel?
Table on glass.
It looks like an oily.
There's our montel. Okay, repitan, mantel.
Mantel.
Good. Okay, make sure you're not pronouncing it mantle. A lot of people look at it and see
What is
mantle.
mantle?
It's the top of it, like a fireplace.
Oh.
Alright, so mantel is our tablecloth. And then our last one is servilleta. What's a servilleta? A napkin. Alright, so there is our table setting.
That was pretty. I like it there.
Did a great job.
Is it better
So
than
you guys,
last
how
year?
was your drawing? Those of you that did drawings.
It's
beautiful.
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 Okay.
Alright, let's move on from place settings. Okay, what's our next group of words? What are all of them?
Describing some over.
They're all verbs, because they're all activities, because that's what the title is, describing restaurant activities. Some restaurant activities. Alright, so obviously, the two main restaurant activities they didn't put on here because we learned them last year. That would be
Comer and beber.
comer and beber, which are
Eat and drink.
to eat and to drink, so make sure you still know those. Alright, what's the first one on our new list?
La mesa.
Yeah, so we got poner la mesa. We already know poner means
To put or place.
put or place, so we're placing things on the table, so we're setting the table. Okay, so this is the expression to set the table, poner la mesa. Do you guys remember how to conjugate poner already?
Yes.
Present tense, you got the pongo and all that, and then past tense is the puse, pusiste, one. Alright, we got poner la mesa. What's after poner la mesa? Pedir. Alright. ¿Qué significa pedir? To ask for or order. Add the word order. Okay, so that's the word that you're going to use when you're saying, I'm ordering this. Okay? So pedir.
Would you use a star for that?
Or you can just conjugate in present tense.
Or would you use a
Yeah,
star?
you could use present progressive tense, but you could just use present tense. Alright, so we got pedir. You need to put a star next to pedir.
Oh, it's weird.
Oh.
It is an E to I stem changer.
But I thought there was no E to IE or stem changers in a predator tense.
There are.
What? You said none of
It said there was none that we were doing so far. It's because it's an I.
those. Is that in past tense that don't
It's in present and past tense. It's an E to I stem change.
Oh, that's okay.
There's only a certain group that stem change in the past. Alright, so pedir. Now, pedir is to ask for. That's not the same thing as to ask a question. What verb is that?
Question. What do you preguntar?
Preguntar. Okay, preguntar is to ask a question. Pedir is to ask for something. Okay, so don't mix those up. They're two different types of asking.
Is preguntar a stem changer or anything?
No,
Is
it's
it all-
Alright, so we got pedir. What's after pedir?
Servir.
Servir. Okay, obviously servir means
To
to serve. Guys, make sure you're answering so it goes quicker. So we got servir. What else do you think we're gonna answer right?
Prayer. Oh, no, never mind. Oh, no,
E to I stem changer.
Yay, weird bird.
No, not gay. Crazy.
Pardon me, I asked you this, but, does that mean like serve in the military too?